You've been holding it together longer than anyone realizes, and not in a dramatic way either, in the quiet way. The kind of strength that doesn't announce itself, that doesn't get applauded, that doesn't get posted or praised. It just keeps showing up, even when your heart feels exhausted, and your hope feels thin, worn, and fragile. There have been days lately where you wake up already shattered, not because you didn't sleep, but because your spirit hasn't truly rested in a very long time. You've been carrying unanswered prayers, silent conversations with something higher than yourself, dreams that haven't unfolded yet, chapters that feel unfinished, questions you stopped asking out loud, not because you stopped caring, but because you're afraid of what the silence might say back. And still, you're here. There is something deeply important about that, because what you've been experiencing isn't random chaos. It isn't punishment. It isn't proof that you're behind, forgotten, or doing something wrong. It's pressure before release. You were never meant to understand every step while you were inside it. If you did, it wouldn't shape you the way it needs to. Growth doesn't announce itself when it arrives. It feels like absolute mayhem. It feels like endings you didn't ask for. It feels like standing in a place where the old version of your life no longer fits, but the new one hasn't entered the frame yet. That space, that uncomfortable, aching middle, that's where you are right now. And here's what matters most. You didn't break in this season. You bent, you adjusted, you adapted. You kept your heart open when it would have been easier to close it. You chose kindness when bitterness would have been justified. You stayed honest when shortcuts tempted you. You chose truth when everyone around you chose comfort. That kind of strength doesn't go unnoticed. Not by life, not by the universe, not by God. There are moments when it feels like everything you built is being quietly dismantled. Plans falling apart, timelines dissolving, people drifting away, doors closing without explanation. And I know how that feels. It feels unfair. It feels unfair because you weren't careless. You tried. You showed up. You prayed. You waited longer than you wanted to, longer than you thought you'd have to. But here's the truth most people only understand after the breakthrough arrives. Sometimes things don't fall apart. They fall out of the way. What you're walking through right now is preparation that doesn't look like preparation. It looks like delay. It looks like disappointment. It looks like confusion. It looks like standing still while the world keeps moving. But the universe doesn't rush what must last. And God doesn't release blessings into hands that haven't learned how to hold them gently. You are being refined, not rejected. There's a reason your patience was tested instead of your strength. A reason your heart was stretched instead of hardened. A reason you had to sit with uncertainty instead of being handed instant answers. Because what's coming isn't fragile. It isn't temporary. It isn't something you'll have to fight to keep. And the version of you from a year ago wouldn't have known how to receive it. There have been nights you stared at the ceiling wondering if relief is ever going to arrive. Mornings where hope feels quieter than it used to. Moments where you ask yourself if you misunderstood the timing. Or worse, if you misunderstood your purpose. But the universe does not tease sincere hearts. It doesn't awaken desires without intending to fulfill them. And it doesn't lead people this far just to abandon them in the middle. I can promise you that. What you've been walking through is the final stretch. Even if it doesn't feel like it yet. The hardest seasons often don't end with fireworks. They end with a gentle shift, a conversation that changes everything, an opportunity that appears without force, a sense of peace where anxiety used to live, a door that opens so quietly you almost miss it, until one day you realize your life has begun moving again. This is where trust becomes real. Not the kind you post about, not the kind you quote, the kind you practice when nothing makes sense. Trust when you don't have proof yet. Trust when the evidence feels thin. Trust when all you can say is, I don't see it, but I'm still here. That counts more than you know. There is a blessing approaching your life that will one day make this waiting make sense. Not because the pain was necessary, not because suffering was required, but because you stayed open while it was happening. Because you didn't shut down. Because you didn't harden your heart. Because even when you felt tired, confused, disappointed, or unsure, You still chose to hope, quietly, gently, imperfectly, and that choice mattered more than you realize. And when this blessing arrives, you won't need to chase it. You won't need to force it. You won't need to prove yourself to earn it. You won't need to explain your story, justify your delays, or defend why you deserve something good. After such a long stretch of waiting, you will simply recognize it, not because it will be loud, not because it will be dramatic, not because it will arrive with fireworks or applause, but because it will feel like peace. It will feel like relief. It will feel like something finally exhaling inside your chest. It will feel aligned. It will feel natural. It will feel like something settling into place, rather than something you had to fight, chase, or exhaust yourself to hold on to. You didn't imagine the resistance. You didn't imagine the delays. You didn't imagine the closed doors, the detours, the waiting rooms, the moments where nothing seemed to move, no matter how hard you tried. And you didn't imagine that quiet inner knowing, that subtle feeling deep in your chest, that something is about to change, that knowing is real, that awareness is real, that inner whisper that keeps saying, not yet, but soon, has not been lying to you. This is not the end of your patience being tested. This is the beginning of your endurance being rewarded. This is the moment where life starts returning what you thought was lost. This is the season where effort meets timing. This is the chapter where waiting turns into receiving. And when things begin to work out, they won't just work out adequately. They won't just work out reasonably. They won't just work out in the bare minimum way that simply gets you through. They will work out in ways you couldn't have planned, ways you couldn't have predicted, ways your mind wouldn't have aimed for, because your imagination would have settled for less than what was actually meant for you. You would have chosen comfort, but life is choosing alignment. You would have chosen speed, but life is choosing stability. You would have chosen relief, but life is choosing transformation. This is why surrender matters. Not giving up, but letting go of control over how it must happen. Not losing faith, but releasing the timeline your fear created. This is why timing matters. Not because delays are cruel, but because rushed blessings break easily, and steady blessings last. This is why divine timing matters. Because some doors only open when you're strong enough to walk through them, without shrinking yourself, without begging for approval, without abandoning your truth. There's no need to rush anymore. There's no need to panic. There's no need to compete with anyone else's timeline. There's no need to force what's already finding its way to you. Trust me, before you leave this space, I want you to anchor this moment with me. Not silently, not passively, but intentionally. Write this in the comments as your declaration. I trust the timing of my life, not as a wish, but as a decision. Because trust is not something you feel, it's something you choose, especially when circumstances haven't caught up yet. And if this message softened something inside you, if it slowed your breath even slightly, if it brought you even a moment of relief, share it with someone who's been carrying their hope quietly. Someone who hasn't complained, but has been tired for a long time. Not loud tired, not visible tired, the quiet kind. The kind that lives behind smiles, inside deep breaths, beneath "I'm fine" responses, and inside people who keep going even when they feel like stopping. Someone who keeps showing up even when their heart feels heavy, even when motivation is gone, even when hope feels faint, even when they don't feel strong, but choose to be steady instead. Someone who does what needs to be done, not because it's easy, but because walking away would hurt more than staying. Someone who needs reassurance that their waiting hasn't been pointless, that their tears weren't wasted, that their prayers didn't disappear into silence, that their effort mattered, that their consistency mattered, that their unseen endurance counted for something, even on the days it felt invisible. Someone who needs to hear that patience is not weakness, that waiting is not failure, that silence is not rejection, that delay does not mean denial. That just because nothing looks like it's changing doesn't mean nothing is changing. Because sometimes the universe uses you to deliver the comfort someone else is praying for. Not accidentally, not randomly, not coincidentally, but intentionally. Sometimes your words arrive at the exact moment someone was about to give up. At the exact moment their hope was thinning. at the exact moment they were questioning whether anyone saw them, whether anything they were doing still mattered, whether they had the strength to keep going one more day. Sometimes your presence becomes the sign they asked the universe for last night. Not a miracle in the sky, not something dramatic or overwhelming, just you, your voice, your timing, your energy, your willingness to show up when they felt completely alone. Sometimes your kindness becomes proof that they're not forgotten after all, proof that the universe still responds, proof that love still moves quietly through people, proof that even when answers feel delayed, care is never absent. And sometimes that's enough to restore someone's faith in tomorrow. And sometimes, right when you think nothing is happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. Roots are growing where you can't yet see them. Strength is forming in places that still feel weak. Clarity is developing inside confusion. Healing is unfolding inside pain. Alignment is rearranging things before it reveals what it's been building. Because real growth doesn't announce itself. Real change doesn't rush in loudly. It works silently, patiently, methodically, like seeds breaking open underground long before anything reaches the light. Doors are shifting quietly before they open loudly. Paths are rearranging themselves before they become visible. Connections are aligning behind the scenes before they arrive in your life. Sometimes, right when you feel furthest from the answer, the breakthrough is closer than it's ever been, closer than the fear suggests, closer than the doubt allows you to believe, closer than your exhaustion can see, closer than your disappointment can measure, closer than your patience feels capable of trusting. Because often, the moment before change feels exactly like stagnation. The moment before relief feels exactly like defeat. And the moment before clarity feels exactly like confusion. And sometimes, things really are about to work out better than you ever could have imagined. Better than what you hoped for. Better than what you planned. Better than what you thought was possible back when you were just trying to survive the waiting without losing yourself in it. Not because life suddenly became perfect, but because you became stronger, not harder, not colder, not numb, stronger in the way that stays soft, stronger in the way that stays open, stronger in the way that stays hopeful even after disappointment, stronger in the way that can finally receive what's arriving without shrinking, without doubting, without asking if you deserve it. And when it does, you'll realize this season wasn't empty. It wasn't wasted. It wasn't pointless. It wasn't random. It was preparing you, shaping you, strengthening you, softening you, aligning you, quietly, patiently, faithfully. And one day you'll look back and realize you weren't behind, you weren't lost, you weren't forgotten, you were becoming, and you were closer the whole time.